guys, what is up? It is I, the Concrete Catwalk. Those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I love all things thrift, vintage, new, nearly new, estate sailing, you name it. I love it. To my catwalkers, mwah, welcome back to a new video for 2026. Those of you who are newly subscribed, thank you so much for coming along together on this journey. Before I get into it, I want to wish you all a very happy new year. My last video for 2025 announced who the two lucky winners were of the $200 gift cards. One winner has reached out to me already. The second winner did reach out to me, but I did not get your information. So if you could please, and thank you, please email me at the address that is in the description box below. I'd like to get this out the door to you. I have been diligently looking at my emails and I have not seen your contact information. So if you send me an email, please put winner at the top of the subject line so I know that it is you. Just want to get you your goods so that you can shop to your heart's content with your gift. Okay, so you guys, let's get into this. I am sure by way of the title of this video, you have seen as of lately that there is something from back in the day in 2000s that is coming in so hot. It is a reissue from Saint Laurent, as they're called these days, and that is of the Mombasa bag. Guys, previously in a video that I did, this was a couple months ago, I briefly showed you the vintage Mombasa bag that I picked up last year, but I'm going to get into all of the things that are going on behind the scenes with regards to the reintroduction of this Mombasa bag and what it has caused ripples with on the pre-love market. So I am not going to hold this up. And this is the vintage medium-sized Mombasa bag, which was introduced back in the day by Tom Ford, 2001-2002 collection. And he was the creative director at, you guessed it, Yves Saint Laurent. This bag was the bag back in the 2000s. And so many celebrities carried this bag, from Gwyneth Paltrow to countless others. And basically this bag was a sellout. Couldn't get it anywhere, couldn't find it anywhere. It was the bag everybody wanted hung on their shoulder. Before I deep dive into the situation that I see arising when you have reeditions that creep up, let me just say this about this piece and what I think you should do if you're considering anything that happens to be going on that loop and making a resurgence real time today. This is the bag that I purchased, the YSL Mombasa bag. This bag is almost a brownish black color with, of course, the beautiful horn handle and the silver hardware that is engraved YSL at the top. And when there was some rumblings last year about the Mombasa bag, and a lot of people were talking about how the Bottega bag that was introduced kind of triggered them. And I will post up here and here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about, and decided to go back in this direction. You guys, I am so glad that I did go in this direction and pick up this Mombasa bag, because let me tell you, and I'm going to sit her down on the side, and I got to speak it the way that I want to speak it, because you know, if I'm talking about some things, I'm going to be recommending some things to you guys. When I bought this Mombasa bag pre-loved, I picked this Mombasa bag up on the real. This bag did not even crack over $400 and some odd dollars. Now, this was about 9 or 10 months ago that I picked this bag up. And I am glad that I bought it at that point in time, because, okay, let me just keep this really real with you. If you step out on the pre-love market now and you are trying to find a Mombasa bag, and I'm going to do some scrolls here or here just from things that I've looked at, and this is going on the pre-love sites, you know what they are, Vestiaire, Collective, Fashion File, all that. You are going to be spending upwards of about $1,200 or more for one of these pre-love Mombasa bags. So this is a hint to you, if you see something that triggers you and you go in the direction of something that is kind of similar, or you start thinking about a bag that has not been seen in a while and you start to see little rumblings about things, go on the search pre-love to get ahead of the game to try to figure out if there's something out there that is going to be affordable for you. Because I tell you this, real time today, the newly introduced YSL Mombasa bags are retailing at about $4,600. Yes, you heard me. And I will post up here. We all know that Bella Hadid is at the front representing these bags. The bag is absolutely beautiful because I think it pays homage to what the past looks like. You guys know me. I am not necessarily a fan of reissues or reintroduced handbags. I like the originals. It's just something about it is so different that I don't think that even a design house could do a perfect reintroduction of something that is already an icon. It's an homage to it. I totally get it. But to me, it's something about having the original piece, whatever that bag is, whether it's a Fendi baguette, whether it's some other introduced piece. And that's going to segue to us to something that I do want to show you, that I'm going to give you a hint about. But let me just stay focused on this Mombasa bag and this reintroduction. Right now, real time, a Mombasa bag that is coming down the runway for spring 2026, the reissued Mombasa bag in the medium size, and I'll post up here, is coming in at $4,500 on the Saint Laurent website. You can go there and check it out to see what all the offerings are. If you are considering wanting the original version of this bag, the first introduced bag from back in the 2000s, I would advise you get on some of the pre-love sites before this bag gets over escalated. And it always happens with reintroductions. When something comes in, usually it's going to hit the price point on the pre-love market because people know that a lot of people are going to be looking for the first edition of the bag, the first time it was introduced, versus paying all of that money for a reintroduction or a reinterpretation of a bag. Now, do I think that this reintroduced version of the Mombasa bag is beautiful? Yes, I absolutely do. But would I spend $4,500 for a reintroduction of the Mombasa bag? No, I would not. If I really wanted this bag, I would go, even if I didn't have the vintage version that I have down by my feet here, I would go back on the pre-loved market and look to see if I couldn't cut what I was paying for the bag in half, if not a little bit more. Would I pay $1,200 for the original version? Oh, yes, I would. I absolutely would. If it was something that I wanted and did not want the reintroduced version, I absolutely would pay the $1,200 for the bag. If you take your time and you look a little bit closer, there are some deals out there. You may be able to find ones for $600 to $700 to $800. When the Mombasa bag was originally introduced, I think this bag retailed for somewhere around $800 or a little bit more, depending upon what materials you were getting. The leather versions were around $800 plus dollars. If you need to fact check, go ahead and fact check because I believe that's what they were. But the animal prints and the skins and all of those things usually took you up over $1,000. But come on now, you guys, we're talking about almost 26 years ago that this bag was introduced. The price has 6 times, 7 times increased based upon what it was. It used to be back in the day, paying $800 was a lot of money for a bag. I'm not minimizing it, but it almost feels like, it's a bargain to pay $800 for a bag back in the day versus shoveling out $4,600 for a bag that is a iteration of its original self. Crazy to me, but hey, I think that Design houses are realizing that younger generations are coming along, and there are some people who are willing to pay $4,500 for a bag, or they may not know that this bag existed back in the day by and was produced by the design house, and they just see it and decide that they fall in love with the shape. So it's kind of like a thing where you need to do your homework, decide where you fall in this. And, maybe somebody owned this bag before, previously, earlier on in their life, and they decide that they want the refreshed version of this bag. I'm not saying one way is the right way and another way is the wrong way. For myself, I'd much prefer to go in the direction of having the original, and save myself a couple dollars in the long run. And I'd be interested to know what you guys think, because this happens with all these different bags that are out here. Versions come and go. It happened with Prada, Fendi, it happens with Gucci, all of these design houses. So I want to know what your thoughts are. Would you pay $4,500 for this new iteration of the Mombasa bag, even though it looks very close to the original introduced bag from the back in the 2000s? Would you drop $4,500 for the latest iteration? Let me know in the comments below. So that segues me to this. I love to look at pre-loved vintage pieces, whether they are Chanel pieces, whether they are YSL, Prada, some other things. Well, lately I've been looking at some of the Vuitton vintage pieces, and there is one bag in particular that caught my eye. Vuitton introduced a line which was the vernis leather. And that was the patent leather bags that had the embossed LV within. And I'll post up pics here or here so that you can see these pieces. These bags were introduced back in the early 2000s. The bags were very popular. This particular type of a leather, the bags came in all forms. So from the Alma Vernis Houston, which I did have back in the day, ultimately sold. But one bag, as I said in particular, kept catching my eye. A bowling bag, vintage bowling bag by Vuitton. They call this bag the LV Tompkins Square. Now, this bag was offered in bronze. It was offered in like a yellow gold type of a color, silver-esque type of a color. I'll post the pictures here so you can see. You guys, let me tell you something. If you are interested in a bowling bag, because bowling bags are trending, and I have a feeling that with all of these reintroductions, that a lot of design houses are going to be sending things from their archives back down the runway, whether it be for spring or this upcoming fall 2026. I'm going to tell you guys, please, I might want to get ready. Well, I decided to pull the trigger on a Louis Vuitton vintage Vernis Tompkins Square bag, and I'm going to show you the bag that I ended up getting pre-loved. You guys, please don't mind, I have something in the pocket already. I'm not going to do a full review of this bag, but I decided to pick this vintage beauty up. This bag was introduced somewhere in the early 2000s. I want to say that this bag came in at around 2000, 2001, kind of similar to around the time that the YSL Mombasa bag was introduced. But this bag I was able to grab off of Mercari. I got this bag for under $260. Now, real time right now, if you go out and you look at on some of the pre-love sites, these are coming in at really good price points. I'm talking twos, threes, fours, $500. Pristine condition might get you closer to $800 or $900 to $1,000. Doesn't matter the color of the bag. If you decide you want the light colors, you want the darker colors, but there's a plethora of ranges. Now, this bag I was able to get for under $260 because in the inside of the bag there is some wear, and on the exterior there is some slight transfer, but it is nothing major. And I'm sharing this with you and I'm telling you guys this is because it's to me, it's all about the intuition and what I see that's coming. I pay a lot of attention to fashion and what goes on in a lot of design houses and what they decide that they're going to do, but I also listen to the under rumblings of what people say about different bags and things that they notice that have been out of, if you will, the fashion rotation for a moment. And you guys know it only takes a nanosecond for a bag to go from, oh my God, I haven't seen that bag in forever, to it's everywhere under the sun. And I think that this type of a Vuitton handbag, especially in a shape like this, is probably going to be one of those things that comes around. So I simply say, trust your guts. If it's something that you see that you think you might be interested in and you decide that you would want to pick it up, get it. Because I think as time moves on, we are going to see that the original versions of said pieces, no matter the fashion house, whether it's Chloe, Yves Saint Laurent, Vuitton, Hermes, Prada, all you get it. The vintage pieces are going to ultimately end up at astronomical price points, as I think people are going to be moving in that direction of wanting the original version of whatever it is. And I just have this feeling that that is the direction things are going to go. This isn't about necessarily vintage. People are drawn to the vintage bags. Yes, they are. I think there's also an affinity for bags that are the first edition. We've seen it in Balenciaga. You can go on and on. And I am very thankful and very humbled that I have first editions of many types of bags. And I think that in terms of making selections and choices, and even in selling some bags off and having the privilege of being able to purchase those things again, I continue to become much, much more selective about those pieces that I decide are going to leave my wardrobe. And I think that this reintroduction of the YSL Mombasa bag is a perfect example of that. By now, I am even much more hyper critical and selective about what I decide is going to be leaving out of my respective handbag collection. And I'm doing this because it's kind of like food for thought for myself, and also food for thought for you guys, based upon all of these things that have been happening in the fashion realm with regards to handbags and things that are going out and coming back in. I think it makes very good sense to pay attention to what's coming along and riding the wave, so that you don't end up overspending for something that isn't even the original version of what it is paying homage to. It is just food for thought. I think that the YSL Mombasa reissue bag is absolutely beautiful, but that $1,500 price point is not one that I am willing to pay for a bag that back in the day, the version of said same, I don't think could ever be reproduced or replicated again, not even by the design house. I love the bag. I think the bag is absolutely beautiful. It is not a dig to Saint Laurent at all, but I think the perfection is in the production when it is first introduced. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below about the re-edition of the Mombasa bag. Are you considering it? Do you have the vintage version of the bag, the first edition, like I do? And let me know your thoughts about the wave, about design houses looking back into their archives and then realizing, oh, let's send this down the runway again and see what happens, when in actuality, sometimes it's just better to have the first edition of said same, and you can save yourself a lot of money if you get it ahead of the curve before it becomes popular. You guys, let me know in the comments below your thoughts. And if you do not want to miss out on anything that I post, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I try to post videos every Sunday. So if you do not want to miss out on anything that I post, tap that and you'll receive notifications each time I post a new video. Links to my socials will be listed in the description box below. You can also head on over to Poshmark. You can check out my closet. I am Concrete Catwalk on Poshmark. Please feel free to leave me a comment there if there is anything that you see in my Poshmark closet, Concrete Catwalk, that you like. You can head on over to Instagram. I am the Catwalks Concrete on IG. Feel free to DM me there as well. If there's anything in my Poshmark closet you see that you are interested in, please make sure you check out some of my other videos as well. Subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned, because in the near future, can't say how soon, can't say how late, there is going to be another giveaway. So please, I ask you, just be subscribed to my channel. This is a way for me to give back. I love doing giveaways, but you have to be subscribed to my channel in order to participate in the giveaway. Thank you so much for stopping by this week. Be safe. See you all in the next video. Mwah. Bye for now.